Last Thursday, on May 16th, in Nashville, Tennessee, teachers scheduled a sick-out followed by a march for public employees in the public square in downtown Nashville. More than 1,400 teachers participated in the sick-out, and even more joined in for the march. Metro Nashville public school teachers are hoping that government officials and the public school board will hear their pleas for a fully funded school budget that includes the cost of a 10% raise for all of the teaching staff. This has been going on for several years, actually. Nashville is one of the wealthiest cities in the South. It plays host to some of the biggest names in music: a world-class art museum, a soccer stadium, a baseball stadium, an award-winning hockey team, the Tennessee Titans, a booming tourism industry, a symphony, several publishing houses, several history museums, and so much more. In 2017, it was named the It City to live in. The Nashville community is where I began teaching art. I spent most of my 20s living in East Nashville. My core group of friends live and teach in Nashville, and my mother, my father, my sister, and my sweet nephews all live in Metro Nashville. Nashville is where I travel back to when I visit the States, and if I could get a job in Nashville, I probably would. But I don't want to teach in a city where I would have to have a second or third job just to make ends meet. In fact, across most of the United States, this is what is happening with teachers everywhere. Most teachers have to work several jobs on top of everyday stresses of their teaching job, and this is not okay. The United States has to do better. So for this video activity, I am going to examine the recent teachers sick-out in Nashville and look at the policies around Metro Nashville's public school funding.
Well, it has been an ongoing battle, and this week teachers and parents are taking it to the streets.
Supporters are demanding more funding and resources for schools so they can better educate students. News Channel 5's Sina Saleem attended a few rallies today and has more.
Teachers in Tennessee are not allowed to go on strike, so instead they're doing this demonstration, and they're holding signs such as "Fund Our Future" and "Honk for Fair Pay."
Hundreds of parents and teachers can be seen throughout the week rallying outside Metro Public Schools.
Brings awareness to the community about what we're facing.
Metropolitan Nashville Public Schools, or MNPS, is a consolidated city-county school district serving more than 79,000 students who reside in Nashville and Davidson County, Tennessee. More than 70% of students are economically disadvantaged, and 12.7% are English language learners. MNPS is a large organization with more than 10,000 employees, with personal costs representing 81% of the budget. Just like in the private sector, the cost of health insurance, retirement plans, textbook replacement, and utilities continues to rise. In addition, whenever the state raises teacher salaries, local school systems are required to pay a portion of the cost. The total operating budget for Metro schools for the 2018-2019 fiscal year is $886,299,700. This amount is funded by state and local tax revenues, with 34.25% coming from state direct funds and more than 60% from the Metro General Fund, such as local property taxes, local option sales taxes, and licenses, permits, and other fees. State education funds are largely provided through the BEP formula, which is determined by the governor and state legislature. Capital expenditures are accounted for separately and are generally not a part of the operating budget recommendations. Additionally, federal and state grants and other special purpose funds are accounted for separately. For example, the School Lunch Fund Program and the MNPS Print Shop are special purpose funds that are funded by fees. Federal funds and grants must be spent for a specific purpose and are not reflected in the MNPS operating budget. In 2018 to 2019, these items totaled more than $93 million and included such areas as special education, state pre-K funding, and a magnet school grant. The largest item in this category is federal Title I dollars, $31.7 million, which helps support the education of students in poverty. A good portion of the operating budget is directed towards charter schools. The amount is $134,661,800. Charter schools get to play by their own rules, but somehow still get to access public school funding. I could not find any information about whether or not charter schools contribute to public school funding in any way to grant them access to the operating budget. I see now why so many teachers are getting frustrated with the number of charter schools opening up in Nashville. Charter schools directly affect the funding that public schools are able to receive. In Tennessee, the Basic Education Program, or the BEP, is a complicated rubric with 46 components the state uses to determine how much money schools get for items such as teacher salaries, books, and transportation. None of it is written in plain person speak, so I couldn't really gather any information from the document. I'm not sure what good it does being a public document or how it seems to determine how schools are funded. What I did find was a list of board policies that outline how Metro Council creates and manages everything from the annual operating budget to gifts and bequests, fundraising activities to purchasing. There are 30 items, and when I clicked on the item, it downloaded automatically to my computer and opened in Word so I could highlight or make notes on things. Each item seems to be about 2 pages long and just vague enough to cause confusion. At the bottom of the board policies website, there is a Share Your Feedback section. In fact, on all pages of the Metro Nashville Public Schools website, it asks for public opinion or response. I am getting nowhere with trying to figure out how a public school budget is created or how the policies around the budget are enforced. I fear this video is merely the tip of the iceberg in terms of research. My questions are beginning to range from who is on the Metro board and what is their background to is the system corrupt and are people receiving gifts?
Happening today, Metro teachers aren't backing down on their fight for a fully funded school system. More than 1,000 of them are taking part in another day of sick outs. News Channel 5's Hannah McDonald's live this morning outside Gower Elementary School in West Nashville. And Hannah, what's the next step in their push for this big budget battle?
They've got it a little more organized today, Adam. They are planning a rally this afternoon. Some teachers will be coming from work, but some won't because, as you mentioned, about 1,000 have called out today. And sources tell me here at Gower Elementary School, about 90% of the teacher force is planning not to come to school, to be sick, and send a message to Metro leaders. The Red for Ed campaign is planning a rally tonight to start actually this afternoon with a poster making event, and then they will go over to Metro Council. Today's citywide sick out, not very secretive. They're really asking for all the support they can get, and have already posted pictures of posters that say on them, take a sick day, and when you're feeling better, join us. This afternoon at 1 o'clock, teachers and supporters are welcome at Nissan Stadium to make more signs, and then at 2:30 they'll march to Public Square, where they'll hold a rally until the city council meeting, which they plan to fill up. At issue is how much money Mayor Briley has set aside for Metro schools. The Metro School Board is asking for $76 million next year to give employees about a 10% raise, but the mayor's proposed budget only would give the district an extra $28 million, making 10% seemingly impossible. Also happening today around Metro, other regional rallies, West Nashville, East Nashville, North Nashville, and also in Southeast Nashville, there are smaller rallies with teachers going on around noon. Head over to newschannel5.com and you can see a list of where some of the other events are planning to happen. Live in West Nashville, I'm Hannah McDonald, News Channel 5.
This research has excited me in wanting to know more. As I met up with teachers in my international school on Saturday evening, I asked them about the funding in their countries. How are teachers paid? And where do funds come from for textbooks, supplies, and building support? In the Ukraine, there are no private schools and all of the education is free and provided by the government. Are the teachers paid well? No. University professors are paid better, but still on the lower end of the pay scale. What about the Philippines? The teachers make an okay living and everything within public schools is provided by the government. Private schools exist and military schools receive the highest amount of funding. Back to the march at hand. What about teacher pay in Metro Nashville? When I went to the salary schedule page on the Metro Nashville Public Schools website, I was taken to a dead link, twice. But further investigation in Google found that on average, an elementary school teacher in Metro Nashville Public Schools makes $46,669 a year before taxes. So really, this equals out to about $30,000 for take-home. Let that sink in. $30,000 a year is not enough for a house payment, a car payment, food on the table, a family, pets, doctor bills, birthday parties, holidays, a life. But teachers are only asking for a 10% raise, and in my opinion, that's not even enough. I think the funding for our teachers will only start to get better as the culture of our country shifts. I think that a good reason that our teachers are not paid well is rooted in sexism. 76% of all the teachers in the United States are female. History shows that the work done by women has been valued less or devalued altogether. Perhaps these marches in Arizona and Oregon, Los Angeles and Nashville, following the shift with the Me Too movement in Hollywood and elsewhere, will cause the culture change our country so desperately needs. And for those that say, if you're not happy, find another job, sure, maybe they should. But what happens to a city when you lose your best educators? What happens when you force out the people who see this as their calling and have a heart for the students? Someone can make the argument that teachers are public servants, but even public servants need money to pay their rent and utilities. And teachers who are already working 10 to 20 hours of unpaid overtime each week shouldn't have to have a second job just so they can continue teaching. Surely a city that can find the budget for a soccer stadium and an NFL draft can fully fund their school district. Teachers deserve better. Kids deserve better. Thank you.